So this is a pose that's used often in treatment of cancer for cancer patients as a way to get more deep relaxation and sleep in a time of treatment. So as a general rule, if you haven't done yoga before and you're diagnosed with cancer, it's not the best time to learn yoga. Okay? It's usually better to have a little bit of yoga, okay? And then if you have the unfortunate diagnosis, then you decide to go into treatment. These kind of poses are a bit helpful because what we know is that people in cancer treatment don't get sleep. They don't rest very deeply. The treatment is difficult. The worry that they have is regularly interrupting sleep. So we're trying to set up something that relaxes the brain and the mind a bit, and at the same time doesn't irritate them in what they're doing. So we begin in this position with the feet about hip width apart. If your lower back is sore at all, then you're going to bend your legs a bit to come into this pose. And then you lay back over the bolster. You make sure that the blanket comes underneath the head so that the feeling is that your forehead is falling towards your chest. Your chest is falling towards the pelvis. We also know that cancer patients regularly, the skin is very sensitive to contact. So where normally we would put a belt here to hold the legs in position, we've just put the blankets there so that the person can relax the legs outward and the skin hopefully won't be irritated in this way. If it is, we would remove the blanket, okay, and we would have to just let the legs kind of roll a bit, but we don't want them to roll too far externally. Then, in this position, Anne's chest is a little bit lifted, and then depending on whether the cancer has entered the lymphatic system or not, would depend on how I might work the arms. So if the cancer was in the lymph nodes in the armpit area, I would be more inclined to work the arms closer into the body. So I would change the angle of the position of the prop so that I'm not opening the armpit too much. The theory in cancer is if you can take healthy tissue and move it towards unhealthy tissue, that would be helpful. So if we knew that the cancer was in the front of the breast area, for example, we would put something in behind her back where that was to push the healthy tissue towards the unhealthy tissue. If we knew the cancer was in a different position, we might put a little bit of weight on the chest to push the healthy tissue to the unhealthy tissue. For now, we're just setting up a basic relaxation kind of pose. And the brain has many, many connections with the hands. So often if we can get the hands to relax and the arm, the brain seems to be able to get a little quieter, a little more relaxed. So I take the weights and I can place them in different ways. I'm choosing to place them on the arm now just to get her lower arm to get a bit more relaxation. But normally it would be just simply like so. And from there, my instructions to her are basically going to be things that help her go deeper into relaxation. Of those instructions, the most important place to begin with, almost always, is the inside of the mouth. So as she lays here, I'll give her some instructions to consciously begin to soften the inside of her mouth. You can let the tongue fall to the bottom of the palate. We hold a tremendous amount of tension in and around the mouth, so soften the corners of the lips. And every time you exhale, see if you can let go of the inside of the mouth just a little bit more. She can stay here as long as she's comfortable. If she falls asleep, no problem. Ideally, with someone who's lacking in sleep because of treatment, this would be something that might be considered a good idea. It's possible that she'll lose some feeling of circulation in her hands because of the weight. And if that was the case, if it was bothersome for her, I would just take the weights off. But I would watch to see whether she's getting more relaxed as she goes. One sign that she was getting more relaxed would be that the eyelids would start to flutter less and less and less. And when it was time to come out of the pose, we would first remove the weights on the hands. Take a moment or two, just feel whatever's happening. And then, when it's time to come out of the pose further, I would ask her to draw her legs towards her chest. Carefully roll over to the right side. Stay on the right side for a few breaths. And when she comes out of the pose, I'll ask her to take her head towards her chest. And make sure that in pushing out of the pose that her head is the very last part of her body to come upright. And then slowly lift the head, let the eyes open,